Hi, my name is Juan Sanchez, and my research project was on the influence of liberation theology in Chiapas. This really started in 1960 with the appointment of Samuel Ruiz as bishop of the Diocese of San Cristobal de las Casas in Chiapas, which was in 1960. And initially, he was more conservative and more typical of other bishops at the time. However, as he got to know the people of his diocese who were mainly in poverty and indigenous, he got to see how the oppression that they faced and how they were treated as second-class citizens by the Mexican government. And initially he would follow more of a charitable approach, trying to teach them in Spanish and follow more, try to make them conform to the Western ideas of civilized people. However, he slowly became more radicalized, and by 1968 at the Medellin conference, he had fully embraced, along with many other Latin American bishops, the ideals of what would become liberation theology. And so he began a new approach that focused on making sure that the indigenous people empower themselves and to form their own path. He would learn the indigenous languages of the people and would translate the Bible into these indigenous languages. He would try to make the people recognize the struggles of Exodus with and make parallels with their own struggles, and he would encourage them to form organizational communities. And so this kind of empowerment that Samuel Ruiz would instill onto the indigenous people would create this culture of activism and resistance throughout Chiapas over the years. Two notable groups that would arise from the seeds of Samuel Ruiz were Las Abejas, or the bees in Spanish, which were mainly indigenous, mainly Catholic, non-violent activist group. They were focused on peace and unity in Chiapas, and would resist and would adopt the liberation theology ideals from Bishop Samuel Ruiz. Another group, while not religious, were also made up of Chiapan indigenous groups, but followed more of a militant approach, which were the Zapatista Army of National Liberation, or the Zapatistas. And they became well known in 1994 when they announced their uprising against the Mexican government and made international news. And all this just shows how impactful liberation theology came to be in Latin America, and in this case Chiapas. This activist culture will lead to the Zapatista uprising, and that would lead to much of Chiapas becoming now an autonomous zone in Mexico.